I often wonder if luck is on my side. Each joyful moment seems entangled with sorrow. It's like riding an emotional roller coaster, never knowing what lies ahead. I strive toward modest dreams, yet setbacks persistently pull me back. Despite these challenges, hope remains my anchor. I yearn for a simple, ordinary life. My journey began unconventionally. I was born unconscious, mistaken for lifeless. But the doctor's persistence brought forth my first cry, marking the start of my fragile existence. As a child, I had to visit the hospital every 2 weeks. Back then, my goals were simple: study well and enjoy games. Annual exams felt like life-changing events, but I can't recall a single exam without health issues cropping up just in time. I had a keen interest in both cricket and chess. While I didn't make it to the school cricket team, I did get selected for chess. Unfortunately, health complications struck at a crucial moment, causing an 8-month gap in my schooling. During the time, relatives and neighbors warned me that education was my only path to success. So, I sacrificed my other interests to focus solely on my studies. After the gap, I noticed a significant change in my personality at school. My once active self became timid and reserved. Despite this, I earned the title of good boy, and my childhood ended with school, home, and hospital. As I entered 10th grade, the pressure intensified. Failing seemed like a life-ending scenario because physical labor jobs were out of reach for me due to health limitations. And beyond my health challenges from birth, there was also the looming Samaya Andhra movement. I prepared diligently for the 10th grade, even though my mother didn't want me to join a hostel for classes. Ultimately, I scored 9 points, but the worries of my family and relatives still weigh heavily on my mind. I chose to pursue my dream of becoming a chartered accountant, CA, after hearing about it during a summer camp. Every day, I embarked on a long journey from my village to college. The only bus available was numbered 999. The trip covered nearly 36 kilometers, taking around 1 to 1.5 hours. Finding a seat was a rare luxury, and if you missed that bus, the wait for the next one felt like an eternity. There were moments when I waited at the bus stop for over 5 hours. During my intermediate studies, I excelled in the first year, bringing joy to my parents. I scored an impressive 482 out of 500. However, just before my 12th grade exams, health issues struck, affecting my performance. Around the same time, our house was damaged by Hudu Tufan, a cyclone. I felt sad about that. I settled for 936 1,000s in intermediate. Even though I didn't recover properly, I started serious for CACPT and did well on the CACPT exam. I got 166 200s. The college even invited me for a press meeting, but unfortunately, I was in the hospital at the time. Nonetheless, seeing my name in the newspaper filled me with pride. After intermediate, I faced new challenges during my IPCC and degree studies. A severe headache forced me to quit IPCC coaching, and I decided to self-prepare. I cleared Group 1, but Group 2 took multiple attempts without success. Meanwhile, during my degree, I missed several semesters due to health issues. The weight of these setbacks led to depression, negative thoughts, and self-hatred. But then something changed. I created very_perplex as a way to explore and understand myself. Remarkably, this attempt succeeded in dispelling those negative thoughts. After completing my degree and successfully clearing all semesters, I joined a CA firm as an article assistant. I held on to hope for positive changes in my life. However, just a month after joining, the COVID pandemic hit hard. Given my health concerns, I had to discuss with my office and request to work from home. The daunting 78-kilometer round-trip commute during a pandemic was simply unfeasible. I even considered asking for termination. Despite these challenges, I persevered. As the pandemic eased, I excelled at work and passed the second group of the IPCC. My journey as an article assistant ended on a high note. I received a partnership offer in front of my colleagues. With my modest stipend of 1,500 rupees per month, I made meaningful purchases: a washing machine to ease my mother's burden of laundry, silver jewelry, a dream come true, even if it's just silver, a kettle for hot water, and a solar lamp, essential during power cuts, especially for studying. Facing the CA final exam for the first time was incredibly stressful. I felt mentally overwhelmed and struggled to focus. As a solo article assistant at work, I bore the brunt of the workload. The pressure intensified when dealing with individual tax returns. Meanwhile, I still had pending classes and exams looming ahead. I took classes from Akai boss. During this challenging period, my grandmother fell seriously ill and had to be hospitalized. Unfortunately, the experience at Vizag KGH hospital was far from pleasant. While the doctors were kind, the supporting staff left much to be desired. In another hospital, where I encountered tuberculosis cases, the atmosphere was eerie due to daily reports of deaths. Back at home, we faced a series of unfortunate events. Someone deliberately set fire to our gates, and our house was robbed. Every week seemed to bring a new issue. On top of all this, I suffered from nightmares that disrupted my sleep. The stress escalated as the CA exam drew closer. Adding to our troubles, the day before the exams, we encountered a major electrical problem in our house. A simple touch could result in an electric shock. Despite calling electricians, they insisted there was no issue on our end. Fault is in my neighbor's house. Frustratingly, they refused to turn off the main switch, even temporarily. Eventually, village leaders intervened to resolve the situation. Result, I failed in my first attempt at the CA final exam. After my grandmother's passing, relatives caused additional problems. Shockingly, some of them hadn't even visited her once during her hospitalization. Their behavior added to our distress. Just leave them, I believe in karma. Amidst all these challenges, I persevered. I failed in my first attempt at the CA final exam, but I didn't give up. On May 23rd, I successfully cleared Group 2, and by November 23rd, I became a certified CA. I hoped this achievement would lead to a good job, but fate had other plans. Suddenly, I experienced severe back and stomach pain. A local hospital had dismissed it earlier, but this time, a private hospital diagnosed me with 20mm kidney stones. Surgery was necessary. Unfortunately, during my recovery, I missed out on campus placements and faced rejection from several big and dream companies. Just when I felt disheartened, an email changed everything. I had been selected for a position at PWC. Now, I eagerly await what the future holds for me. I set a goal for myself on X for the year 2024. 1. Clearing CA and financial independence. So I almost achieved it. 2. 1K on any platform for voice is about to complete on YouTube. I got 975 subscribers. 3. At this time, novel publishing is not possible. I would much rather learn anything new, like how to swim, ride a bike, or practice yoga.